Not the game. Not the game that I love. We're talking about practice. It's mock draft time, Will. What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 69 of Bringing the Heat. My name's Cody Byatt. With me, as always, the 14 Fastballer co-host, Will Sism. Buddy, a little AI to get us rolling today. How are you doing, man?
Right, I'm feeling way better because of the AI reference. Shout out to Allen Iverson wherever he is. But we are talking about practice, not a game, but practice, and this is going to be a lot of fun with this mock draft. So I'm excited. Got my voice back. So hey, it's going to be a good day.
It's going to be great, man. Guys, if you're wondering where we've been, I was out of town. We were on a little baby moon. I had a great time up in North Carolina. So we could not physically with work and then heading out like the day after work. We could not get an episode recorded. But this is one we had planned. We wanted to get knocked out because it's just a lot of fun, man. It is draft season out there in fantasy land for baseball. Pitchers and catchers, they've reported it is almost time for spring training. Mere days away at this point. So this one we look forward to every year, Will. We're going to do a little mock draft, 12-team league. Before we dive in, I do want to say this is off the vessel that we're using is the Fantasy Pros. It's a really cool website. I like it. They have all kinds of rankings, things you can dive into, articles you can read. They even have a podcast. So if you're listening to this, I mean, shoot, if you like hearing guys talk about baseball, they'll get the job done. But this is the mock draft simulator. It's part of the Draft Wizard. And, man, you can just go in with a buddy or by yourself and just practice. It'll do your league settings any way you want them to. So it's pretty cool, man. I get a kick out of doing this with you. Before we get started, though, give us the lowdown on kind of our scoring settings and what our rosters will look like.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. So kind of what we're shooting for today is – as far as scoring goes, we're kind of simulating a real roto league. 10 categories, 5 hitting, 5 pitching. For pitching, we're looking at wins, saves, total strikeouts, ERA, and WHIP. So no holds are in this. And then scoring, we've got runs, home runs, RBI, stolen bases, and average. So kind of your standard 5x5 scoring rules here. And then as far as our roster positions, we're only going to do 3 bench spots just for time's sake. But as far as the positions we're shooting for, as far as starting positions, is we're going all the way through the infield, catcher, first base, second base, short, third. We're actually doing an extra corner infield and an extra middle infielder. We're going to do 4 outfield positions, and we're going to do 1 utility. So that'll make up our lineups. And then we're doing 6 pitchers, and that can be starters, relievers, whatever you want to do in those 6 pitching spots. So standard 5x5 league, and that is all of our roster spots.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll be drafting out of the 5 spot, and then Will, he's going to take the quick turnaround. He'll be at 11, so he'll get the 11 and then 14 picks. So I'm excited to see how this goes. We're going to get started. If you're on the YouTube side, thanks for checking it out. It's just Bringing the Heat. You don't put the @ on the YouTube side, but check it out. We're going to get rolling here. Will, would you like to start with 2 participants? You better believe we would. All right, heading to the draft board. It looks like, we got 20 seconds before it starts. Well, look at this. This is good. It looks like the experts say 100% of people would take Ronald Acuna Jr. I have got to believe. I wonder if there's even a draft out there, Will. Is anybody not taking Ronald Acuna at number 1?
I'm sure there's some people out there, but I want to play in their leagues because, I think that I think it's the most no-brainer of a decision that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty easy, dude. All right, so we're off now, guys. We have started, and sure as the sky is blue, Team 1, they got real creative with names here. Sometimes they switch them up, so I'm a little surprised they didn't. Team 1, they took Ronald Acuna Jr. That's, like we said, you're going to see that. Team 2, at the second pick, Bobby Witt. So first shortstop off the board, lots of fun. Julio Rodriguez at the 3 spot, and then Corbin Carroll. So some young outfielders going back-to-back at 3 and 4, Will. As I look through, I think you guys can see my screen. That's what, yeah, if you're on the YouTube side, that's what's pulled up. At the 5 spot, especially in a lot of leagues with 5 outfielders, of course, we're talking 4. I'm looking for, I'm just looking for an outfielder, because we talked about it when we did our breakdown of the outfield position. Yeah, it looks deep, but when you need 4 or 5 of these guys, and the first, 5 to 10 go in the first 2 rounds, this is a position you're really going to want to attack. So, looking at the outfielders, you're going to see Mookie Betts still available. All these guys, really. Kyle Tucker is a good option. It says ADP is 4. But I think for right now, as I'm looking, I'm having this conversation in my head. I like Mookie being available because he'll give you second base, shortstop, and outfield. And I think I might take him just because of the freedom that'll give me as I continue on in the draft. Will, any qualms with that, dude?
No, I like that a lot. I think I think Mookie Betts is gonna fall to kind of that 4, 5, 6 range in a ton of drafts, and I think he is the absolute perfect middle of the first round pick because you mentioned it. You get those multiple positions he's eligible at, including second base, and outfield, and you just know like what you're gonna get, man. And there's so much value in that, and he's playing in an even better Dodgers lineup than he was last year, if you can believe it. So I love that pick.
Yeah, I thought maybe Tucker because he'll get you on the stolen base front, but I think Mookie's going to steal 1,000 runs. So yeah, lots of
Yeah.
fun as we look at our draft. Yeah, as we look at our draft board, Team 6 took the first starter off the board, Spencer Strider of the Atlanta Braves. That's what I've been seeing quite a bit. After him at 6, we had Kyle Tucker at 7, Fernando Tatis Jr. on the bounce back at 8. First baseman, Freddie Freeman at 9, and then Juan Soto at 10. Will, I know he's your guy. Might have been a little snipe there. Who are you
Hmm.
thinking for 11?
Yeah, I'm kind of along the same lines of thinking as kind of you were. I mean, I think here at 11, the good thing about picking 11th, like where I'm at right now, is you're about to get another pick here in just a couple of picks, so you're almost back to back, which is kind of a spot that I enjoy being at. But I'm thinking right here, unless there was somebody who really fell to me that I was shocked that fell, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking the top outfielder on my board, and right now that's Aaron Judge. I know that he's going to have a little bit of an injury risk, but here's the thing: I think with Juan Soto hitting either behind him or in front of him this year, I think Aaron Judge is going to have a monster year as long as he's on the field. He's
Yeah,
outfield eligible, and he's gonna we're playing a 5x5 category league, so I there's a very good chance that I'm going to potentially lead the league in home runs by starting my draft with a guy like Aaron Judge. So that's where I'm going with this pick.
I like it. After that, you had the 12 and 1 picks on the board go off. Team 12, what a name. Trey Turner and Shohei. Shohei only DH this year. So you had the first well, no, not the first shortstop, but the 1 for many years prior to this year. Trey Turner and then Shohei. And then back to you, Will, after you took Judge.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot. If I was, if I was going in a league to where I wanted to go a little bit more pitcher heavy, I think Garrett Cole would be the pick for me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think even if you're trying to balance out your roster, I think if Garrett Cole's sitting there, I think this is a really good spot for him here in the next couple of picks. But um, with my first couple of picks, I like to really build a strength early. And so with the construction of this team, I know I got Aaron Judge earlier. I'm going to build on that, and I'm going to kind of double up on that and go Jordan Alvarez with this pick. And that way I feel like, batting average, RBIs, runs, home
Yeah,
runs, those are kind of locked down with those 2 picks. So I'm going Jordan to couple with Judge with my first 2 picks.
I love it, dude. I love it. I think it's a great pick. After Jordan goes, you have Garrett Cole go third pick in the second round, then Jose Ramirez, Matt Olson at 2-5, Austin Riley back-to-back teammates there at 2-6, and I do believe he's the first third baseman off the board as I comb through there. And then Bryce Harper, new first baseman Boy, I had a couple of those guys on my mind, and
Yeah.
that's tough. I was looking at Olsen. I've seen him kind of fall back to mid late second round, and I'm very interested in and bringing him on board. As I'm scrolling through here, peep at the outfield here. Luis
You know
Robert,
what what's funny real quick while you're kind of
hit,
going through that is
hit me.
um Matt Olson is going to go very high in basically every draft, and rightfully so with the season he had last year. But also just keep in mind, Matt Olson has never been drafted anywhere close to this high previously. So I'm not
Yeah,
saying he's going to have a down year. I'm not saying that at all. But I do question sometimes when a guy just has these massive leaps, just out of nowhere, seemingly. And so it's just really interesting to me that Matt Olson is now a borderline first, definitely mid second round guy because he's just never even been close to that, which is kind of fascinating.
yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about it, dude. He's out there almost every day playing in a very plus ballpark.
Yeah.
Very very yeah. He's an absolute stud, man. And he had
Yeah.
a great year last year. 54 bombs. I hate to just go on with what the experts are saying I should do, but in a league where those big name first basemen go, I would normally switch to either a second outfielder, very akin to what you did, or go third base and pick up O'Reilly. Of course, he just went. So I'm trying to decide if I want to. I'll probably roll Devers here, man. That'll give me a guy to root for. I'm going for an all 2018 Boston Red Sox team. I got Mookie and I got Devers. It's called
That's
the Good
funny.
Old Days team. Oh, it's great, man. After I picked Devers 2-8, 2-9 was Ozzy Albies. He was the guy I had in mind as well. Then back-to-back second basemen, Marcus Semien, Vlad Jr. near the end of the second round. And then we have our third pitcher, Corbin Burns.
Yep.
Got back-to-back pitchers for Team 1 here, though. Zach Will, I know you don't hate that, Will. You love a good starting pitcher
I
combo.
do.
Yeah, Corey Seager, he's dropped back a little bit in drafts with his hernia. I believe it's a hernia potential.
Yep.
He had a surgery.
Yep.
So they're saying he'll be okay to start, but we'll see. We'll definitely see what happens. Pete Alonso at 3-3, and then for Francisco Lindor.
Real quick, you mentioned a couple of things.
Yeah,
Corey Seager, man, dude, Cody, I think you know how much I really, really love Corey Seager, but man, I will say this: a guy who doesn't have the most clean bill of health as far as injury history in his past, opening the season coming off of, I'm not going to say it's a major surgery, but it's a surgery. Man, that gives me a little bit of cause for pause getting a guy basically borderline second, early third round with that kind of injury history. So that makes me a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, dude. As I'm combing through here real quick, looking at picks, I think I'm going to dive in to get my SP1. It's going to be Kevin Gausman of Toronto. Somebody to kind of anchor a staff. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That's my big thing. I don't like going after pitchers too early because I just feel like it's so volatile. You never know. I drafted a team a couple weeks ago. I had Kyle Bradish. I had Walker Buehler. It comes out that they're both going to start the year on the IL. So pretty tough. Yeah, I know. It's going to be okay, Will. We'll be okay. Hey, after I took Gausman, Luis Castillo goes, then Luis Robert. Jose Altuve, Astro for life at 3-8. Pablo Lopez, another good SP off the board in the third round. And then Ellie De La Cruz at 3-10. Dude, people have been fading this guy in drafts I've been in. I don't know if it's the fact that you get penalized so much in certain leagues with strikeouts. That would be my guess. But yeah, he's going much later than the third round. Who are you thinking at 3-11?
Yeah, so right here, I'm, this is kind of where, in my opinion, this is really, these next few picks, in my opinion, is where the draft really begins. Because, I mean, if you're playing in a reasonably competitive league, pretty much everybody's going to get great players these first few rounds, right? And so, the starting in the third, fourth, fifth round is really where you start molding your team and really building around your strengths, figuring out, some of the, maybe even figuring out categories or positions that you want to I don't know, maybe fade a little bit or punt on it if you're in a categories league. But right here, I'm I I I'm really wanting to grab a pitcher if I can, but there's really not one that's just screaming at me. So right now, I'm gonna pick the guy who I just firmly believe is the best player on the board that fits my team, and I'm gonna go
Hmm.
Gunnar Henderson.
I like it.
He's eligible at both third base and shortstop this year. I think he's gonna be an anchor for years to come in that Baltimore lineup, and I think he's just going to basically exacerbate the streaks that I've got going on my team with Jordan and Aaron Judge. So we're going Gunnar with our third round pick.
I like it, man. I think that's a great pick. I think he's poised to have another great year. Started slow last year, obviously ended super strong. Dude's a stud, man. A little oblique thing, but he should be good to start the year. We have back-to-back outfielders: Adolis Garcia, Michael Harris II. I was hoping somebody would follow me. It's not looking like Team 12's not letting that happen. Will it's
Right?
not very nice, buddy. After back-to-back outfielders go, what are you thinking?
Yeah, man, you said it. Just to close that thought. I mean, here this is kind of what we were saying in that outfield breakdown, man. Outfield is not near as deep as you think it is, and all the top end guys go so quick. It's really easy to get left out in the cold at that position. So, I'm definitely glad I got my two out of the way when I did. But right here with this pick in the fourth round, unless there's somebody on the board that's just screaming at me, I feel like it's a prime opportunity to get kind of my ace of my staff as far as pitchers go. And to be honest with you, I'm torn between two guys. If I was in a category league that heavily favored strikeouts, I'm probably going to go Tyler Glasnow here.
Mm-hmm.
But the injury history scares me a little bit. I want a guy with my ultimately, I want a guy with my first starting pitcher position that I really feel like I can rely on every single start. And so, having said that, I'm going to go Zach Gallen here. I think Arizona's primed to be a great team for years to come. Yes, they have to
Yep.
face the Dodgers in that division. I get it. But I think Zach Gallen is absolutely an ace in Major League Baseball and potentially a top five pitcher overall. So that's who I'm going in this position to lock down my starting rotation.
I like it a lot, dude. After you took Gowan, Bo Bichette goes off the board in the fourth round. Yoshinobu Yamamoto goes 4-4. That keeps going
Wow.
high. That's insane, man. Higher and higher. I guess if you take a guy in the third round like Pablo Lopez, you can take Yamamoto.
Yeah.
CJ Abram, we talked about him in the shortstop breakdown. This dude has a ton of potential. He goes 4-5. Randy Arozarena, and then George Kirby. And I was literally going to take whoever was not there on the board. I was going to take whoever was still there. So that's pretty tough for me as I look at who's available, man. I
It's tough.
I really felt good about, okay, one of those guys is going to make it back to me. And now as I look, I do feel like I need to go out. I got to dive into this outfield position at some juncture. I know I got Mookie at second, but now I feel like second base is drying up a little bit,
Yeah.
which, it's not a notoriously deep position to begin with. Um, just peeling through here, some guys on the board. The experts are saying go get Glasnow. I don't know how I feel about that, Will. You got Glasnow.
It's a
You
lot of
got Nola.
risk.
It's a
Yeah.
lot of risk. If you're looking at Nola versus Glasnow at this point in the draft, I'd probably take Nola. There's also Logan Webb down here hanging out. I love me some Logan Webb.
Yep.
Just drafted him the other day. I think he's the absolute man. Um, I'm gonna wait, man. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait at outfield. This is not a draft build that I've ever. I never go, this pitcher heavy, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take Nola, and I'm gonna have Gosman and Nola to start this staff. After Nola goes off the board, Will, we have Nolan Jones, outfielder for the Rockies. So we got to give the Rockies some cheers, man. It's very exciting. We're talking about Colorado. Adley Rutschman, I know that's your guy at 410. Emmanuel Class A, I do believe he's the first RP off the board for Team 2. Good for them. Let's see. Tyler Glasnow goes. He's the last pick in the fourth round. Then Nico Horner. Don't know how I feel about that. That seems
Wow, that's early.
very early. I agree with you. Remember, he was part of the ADP battle though with CJ Abrams. So
It's true.
they're pretty close together. Cody Bellinger goes. There's another outfielder. Framber Valdez at SP, and then Devin Williams, who I think we both think could have a better year than Class A, but we'll see.
Yep.
And then back to me. Well, I mean, at this point, buddy, suggestions. If you just go to all, it's saying I need to go grab another pitcher. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that's not gonna happen. I'm looking. I know I need an outfielder, dude.
You know what's really interesting, though? You know that I'm the president of the Adley Rutschman fan club, but
yeah,
man, him going in the 4th round, man. I mean, that's high. That's as high as I've seen a catcher go in a while.
I agree with you, man. Here's the deal: he could win the batting title. He is that good.
Yeah.
But we talked about it last episode with Yamamoto. It's like you got him at a discount last year.
Yes.
Now you're paying full price for Adley, and
yes.
I got no shares of Adley so far. I might do like a FOMO team and just draft everybody that I don't want to miss out on. But for the most part, dude, he's going too early, and I love him.
It is early.
And it's early. Speaking of early, it might be a little early for this guy, but it might be the first time in his career we're saying that. I'm going Mike Trout, man. I'm going Mike Trout. I need an outfielder. I got my fingers crossed. Shout out to the health fairy. Keep this guy healthy and on the field, and I know he's going to bounce back. I was reading an article today. He wants to stay, and he wants to win with the Angels. We got to talk to him about that, Will, because it's not going to happen, buddy. But, I want him out there. I want him healthy. After I took Trout 5-5, Manny Machado goes off the board. Josh Hader, new Houston closer. Matt McLain, second baseman for the Cincinnati Reds. He's going to get the lion's share at second base. Max Fried goes after McLain at 5'9", and then 5'10". That seems late to me. Logan Webb is an absolute stud. Who are you taking at 5'11"?
Yeah, this is an interesting spot here. As I said before, I feel okay about my outfit with those top 2 that I picked. I always say whenever you're in doubt, grab a pitcher. And so there's not anybody that's just screaming at me here. As far as positions, all the positions still have plenty of depth in my mind right now that I need. So I'm going to grab a guy who honestly I think could easily be the top guy at his position this year, and that's Edwin Diaz. I get that he's coming off of a major injury, but it wasn't to his elbow or his shoulder. And so that makes me feel pretty decent about it. And so I'm going to go Edwin Diaz, lock down my top end closer. I know I'm getting great strikeout numbers, and I'm going to get a lot of saves. So I feel good about getting him at the end of round 5, especially in just a 5x5 category league where saves have a big emphasis on, they count just as much as home runs do. So
that's right.
Keep that in mind if you're in a roto league.
100% right, dude. Yeah, I was hoping he'd fall to me. He did not, though, and I saw a video of him throwing spring training, dude. He looks back. He looks back. Pretty exciting. Skubal goes, last pick in the 5th, and then Royce Lewis. So a couple of guys who are hoping to stay healthy in 2024. And then back to you at 6'2", buddy. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so right here, I feel pretty good about the last few picks. I've been able to get kind of my ace of my staff. I've also been able to get kind of the top closer on my board. So I'm going to go back to my lineup, address a need there. I feel like first base is better than it has been, but I feel like there's still some tiers of drop off here at the position. And so as a result, I'm going first base, and there's a guy just sitting there that, like, I get he's getting older, but you know what? He's always productive. He's going to help me in basically every category, probably except for steals at this point in his career. And I'm going Paul Goldschmidt, man. I think getting Paul Goldschmidt at the top end of the 6th round in a 12-team league feels like a steal, even at advanced age like he is now. And so I feel pretty good about where that is.
Dude, I love it, man. He was another guy I had kind of in the queue there. Paul Goldschmidt, dude, he's gone. Blake Snell after him. I got to imagine Blake, once he signs, he's going to go a little bit higher than 6th round. Kyle
or
Schwarber,
lower. What if he signs with the Angels?
That's true. I don't know. That's a good point. I think some people are fading him right now simply because they think he might not sign with the team. And I know
Yeah.
we have some time, but Scott Boras has done this in the past. So we'll see. I think that's like the lowest percentile chance of actually happening.
Yeah.
But I've seen him. Fought picked him up in a draft the other day because it was like, okay, what round? We're at the 7th or 8th round. I'll take Blake Snell. Schwarber goes after Snell, and then Duvall, Chisholm, and O'Neal Cruz looking for a bounce back. A guy who played all of 9 games, and then I believe he broke his ankle or his leg. Had a lower leg injury for certain. I just can't remember where. He's looking for a bounce back. That's a guy who has all the tools. We'll see what he does, Will. Okay, back to me. Dude, this is tricky. I was thinking exactly what you were doing because of the setup of this league and the fact there's only 6 pitcher spots. I feel like you gotta get a closer, man, because there's more than last year. We talked about it, but those top of the line closers, they're few and far between. But just coming through real quick positions, got Gleyber Torres at second base. Of course, don't really need him if I keep Mookie there. Shortstop, Ha-Seong Kim. I had him higher rated than Will. Very interesting. Bregman at third, don't need him. Back to the outfield, Josh Lowell. I'd love to draft him, Will, but he plays for the Rays. And the Rays, I'm going to lose like 100 at bats just because of that simple fact.
Very true.
All right, this is a guy I know we talked about. ADP says I'm grabbing him a little bit sooner than I should, but Johan Duran, if he's in the right place, right time, and they use him in the 9th inning, he might have more saves than anybody, so I'm going to go ahead and take him.
Yep.
And then, if the draft keeps on going, 6'9", it goes. Freddie Peralta, Nolan Arenado at 6'10". Raisel Iglesias, another closer off the board. Alex Bregman to finish the 6th round. 7th round starts, Grayson Rodriguez, Logan Gilbert, Josh Lowe, Christian Yelich. So that's an outfielder who I can't get Yelich and Trout. You're just asking for the all MVP injury squad. Can't do that.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, man. Coming through who's available. Lordy. Dude, I've gone more pitcher than I've ever gone this early in any kind of draft. So I feel like I got to stay away. I know that's a terrible reason. I just think with only 6 pitchers, but Kodai Senga staring me right in the face. And I know he had a big year last year.
Yeah.
He's primed to have another big one, but I am like legit trying to figure out if I'd rather have Brian Reynolds or Gleyber Torres. Okay, you got an ADP of 91 or ADP of 80. I tell you what I'm going to do. I like Torres at this is literally what I do when I'm sitting at home drafting guys. I just talk it out, baby. Here we go. And it's got to be annoying to listen to, but my mom probably loves my voice. So I love you, Mom. Here we go. For Mama, this is for her. We're going to go ahead and go Gleyber Torres a little bit quicker than maybe I should. The scoring, they're not going to love that, but we need a middle infielder anyway, so I will take it. Will, after I took Torres off the board, that's a solid second baseman. I'll get back to the draft board. Will Smith goes at the catcher position. Kodai Senga, Cedric Mullins, JT Realmuto, Bobby Miller. Big Bobby Miller fan over here. Then you at 7-Eleven, buddy. You're open 24/7. Where are you going?
This is an interesting spot. I feel okay about my team so far. I think I've got, a lot of power. I've got a couple of good arms already. So right now is kind of the point in the draft where it's like, okay, what's still out there? At this point, I'm trying to figure out, all right, what positions are really starting to feel like they're drying up? And what I mean by that is, when the next couple of guys come off the board, is there a massive drop off? That's kind of what I'm trying to assess at the moment. And also take into account, like, where can I, in a 5x5 category league, what you got to try to do in a 12-team league is you got to try to dominate several categories. And so if you're able to lead the league in a couple of categories, it really gives you a lot of kind of margin for error in the other ones, to where you can kind of be middle of the road in a few and maybe even punt one or two. So I'm going to try to continue to build on some strengths here. I am going to grab one more closer to hopefully allow me to help be one of the top go-getters and saves in this league, because that's usually an easy category to target in these type of leagues. So I'm going to go Jordan Romano. He's not my favorite player in the world, but I
Yeah.
think he's honestly going to get a ton of saves in Toronto. He'll help you in strikeouts. He'll, he's one of those guys. I think sometimes he gets overdrafted, but at this point, basically around 7 or 8, I'm okay with that in order to kind of lock down the saves category.
Yeah. I just looking through who's available to close out games. He might be the best guy left on a team that has plus plus win potential. So
Yep.
I like it, dude. I know we talked about it. He's a little bit white knuckly, a little
Yep.
bit Kimbrel in him, but hey, I think it's good, especially for the build you have going on. And I love doubling up like that, dude. After you went there, Zach Eflin and then Christian Walker to start the 8th round, and then you have the second pick, buddy. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go here with just purely a guy who I think is kind of the best available at a need position. Still, I'm gonna try to solidify with my third outfielder here. I'm gonna go Brian Reynolds just because I feel like Brian Reynolds at this point in the draft, it feels like a big drop off once we go past him. And
Yeah,
so, even though I already have 2 really, really good outfielders, we got to have 4 in this league. So,
that's
you
right.
don't want to have too much of a weak spot there. So, I think Brian Reynolds is the best player available, and that's where I'm going here.
I like it, dude. After Reynolds, William Contreras goes. Cole Reagans, maybe a touch early, but people are high on him.
Yep.
David Bednar, Cattell Marte, Jesus Lazardo goes for Miami. He's a guy who's looking to stay healthy and do big things. Then it's back to me, guys. So you're looking at my team. Got Torres, Devers, Betts and Trout in the outfield, and then Gosman, Nola, Duran. A lot to like there. When I'm looking at it, I'm at the 92nd pick in the draft. Still need a first baseman, still need a catcher, still need a shortstop. And like you said, dude, I may or may not have forgotten that we have 4 outfield spots we need to fill, guys. Okay, I'll raise my hand. Okay, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest. I think there's something to that. As I continue to roll through and stall, Xander Bogaerts, we could talk about him if we wanted to do news, Will. We kind of talked about that. I think, boy, I hate to keep following your lead, but you are pretty good at this. I'm trying to decide if I want to grab another. Right now, I feel like we're kind of in this glob of pitchers where you got, Yuri Perez, Joe Ryan, Justin Steele. These are guys, Musgroves is there. These are guys that I feel like I could take them now, but there's going to be somebody of that caliber have that kind of chance of doing a similar thing.
Right.
So I'm not like chomping at the bit to do that.
Yep.
So the 2 I'm looking at, I got 3 first basemen I'm interested in. So I think one of those will make it back to me. I'm going to do either Yainer Diaz or Nick Castellanos. And I think I could live with somebody else at catcher. So I'll go for a big year out of the guy in Philly and Nick Castellanos. Let's see if he can do something spectacular and be my second or third outfielder, depending on where we land with Mookie. After Nick goes, we have Yuri Perez, Ha-Seong Kim, Tristan Casas. That hurts. He was definitely top of my list of first baseman. Alexis Diaz and Paul Sewald talking about Team 1 doubling up. They've done that quite a bit this draft. Joe Ryan, Kyle Bradish, Spencer Steer. Bradish, real quick, guys, if you're listening, he's going to miss some time. He has a UCL strain. I've read what kind of grade it is, but he's going to miss some serious time.
And that's Bradish, you said?
Kyle Bradish. Yeah, he's one of the guys I drafted on a team like 4 weeks ago. So
that's tough.
That is tough. There's a lot of people who talk about maybe not drafting in January, but I get bored, guys, and excited for the baseball season. As I peel back, I'll try and kind of keep rolling, kind of speedy here. A couple of the first basemen I like, they're still there. They're still there. As I'm thinking about dipping back into the starting pitcher market. There's still some guys. We only need 6 spots in this league, Will.
Right.
There's some guys I really like still. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just totally go off of what I said before, not what I just said, but I'm going to go Yainer Diaz. This is a guy who I think could have a big year from Houston. He's going to get the range. I got the slight reach kind of emoji pop up in the bottom right. You'll get some draft feedback here from the draft wizard, so they'll probably ding me for that, but that's okay. We'll still be friends. After Diaz went, Spencer Torkelson off the board, Justin Steele, Ian Happ, Ryan Presley. That's a miss, right? I mean, elite setup man, sure, but how many saves is he going to get? Josh Young,
Yeah.
he's going to miss 3 weeks, Will. 9-11, not going to make a comment on that. A lot of 11 things going on because you have that spot in the draft, Will.
Right.
9-11, baby, who you taking?
Yeah. So real quick, do you want to fill everybody in on Josh Young real quick?
Yeah. He missed. He's gonna miss what? 3 weeks? First 3 weeks with what exactly got sprained? He has some kind of injury going on. Let's see if we pull it
Yeah,
up
I
here.
saw something about it, but I didn't see the
Calf,
specifics on it. Okay.
calf strain. Yeah, he'll be out for about 3 weeks. You're gonna see this, guys. Keep your head on a swivel because these guys are revving up, and yeah, just kind of ticky tack injuries. I mean, that's the best case. Worst case is something that happened to Edwin Diaz last year when he hurt his knee.
Right.
But yeah, he'll miss big chunk of April, but he'll be back. There's some guys who think he had such a good year last year. He is due for some regression. We'll see. He's obviously in a great lineup, but let's hope he can get healthy and bounce back. But yep, nope, for sure, a little calf strain injury. Who you like at 11, buddy?
Yeah, for sure. So kind of where I'm at here, I with only 6 pitcher spots, like it's tempting to kind of wait on those for a little bit later in the draft since I've already got 3. But there's a guy that I get he's coming off of injuries, but man, he's also in a contract year, and remember that. I think that's important to know, especially when you play in a really competitive league. You're looking for like little things that, especially at this point in the draft, that can really maybe you turn a 9th or a 10th round pick into a guy that ends up being a 2nd or 3rd round guy at the end of the year. I think it's possible here, so I'm going to go with Walker Buehler.
Mm.
He's playing on arguably the best team on paper that we've seen in quite some time. So you don't think wins are going to be an issue. Strikeouts are typically good with him, and so I feel pretty good about getting him. Basically around the 100th pick in the draft. So that feels pretty good to me.
Yeah, dude, he's solid, and the upside's obviously there. Esteury Ruiz ends our 9th round, and then you have Justin Verlander, another guy. Woke up, said he usually kind of cools down and then picks it back up right around spring training. Said his shoulder didn't feel right, so he's going to kind of take it easy, and he'll probably be a month behind. So Justin Verlander goes with our first pick in the 10th round, but he's going to miss some time in April, buddy. Who you like with your second pick?
Yeah, so this one's a interesting pick. For right here, I mean, I'm probably gonna try to boost the lineup a little bit. I haven't really gotten anybody other than Gunner who's really gonna help me in steals, so I'm gonna try to go that route here if I can kind of sneak some steals, and really get a guy who can not only steal bases but also help me in a few other categories. I'm gonna go Bryson Stott for the Phillies, which will fill a need for me at second base at this point in the draft.
I like it, buddy. I like it a lot. He was kind of on my mind, all the time. Here we go. Bryson Stott, Luis Arraez. He's probably going to win back-to-back batting titles. He's pretty amazing. Xander Bogart, San Diego second baseman goes. Jackson Chourio, stud. He's going to be awesome. Lane Thomas goes after him, and then Dylan Cease at 10-7. Back to me, 8th pick, 10th round, Will. We talked about my team my last go around. I still need 2 shortstops potentially, dude. It's I hate to say it's something about when I do these and I like host it or like talk about it. I feel like it's harder to look at the team holistically. And I didn't forget about shortstop, but I haven't had zeroed in like I would like to. That being said, I love Dansby as a real baseball player. You know what I mean? He's incredible with the glove. I do not get jazzed about much that he's doing.
I agree.
With the stick. You know what I mean? So as I'm peeling through, I need a first baseman still. I could go back into the pitcher market, but like I said, the glob's still there, man. There's still Musgrove, Bybee, Gray, Bassett. These are guys that are really solid third starting pitchers. So I'm not really looking to dive in there. I'm going to do it, man. I'm taking your guy. I'm going Yandy. I'm going Yandy Diaz. He can give you first. He can give you third. And he's just a stud. A lot of fun to watch. And if you needed him in like a pinch, like a bar fight situation, he'd have your back. He'd be there for you. After I took the best wingman ever, George Springer goes off the board. Andres Munoz, Stephen Kwan. That's a guy looking for a bounce back. Evan Carter
Yeah.
is our last player in the 10th round. I think I'd have them swapped hardcore. Dansby Swanson goes 11-1. Joe Musgrove's 11-2. Seiya Suzuki 11-3. And then Josh Naylor. Dude had a sneaky great year for Cleveland, and I have him on a few teams. I feel like he gets slept on because he plays for the Guardians, but
I agree.
I think he's a stud. Okay, so now we're back. Still need a shortstop. I actually have my eye on a guy. Dude, that's crazy how much shade the experts are throwing on Anthony Santander. I feel like he is solid, and I would take him over Jordan Walker, even though the experts are telling me to do the opposite of that. I tell you what, though, dude, there's a pitcher here that is just super consistent, and he had a big year. He's going to take it and try and do the same thing with another team. Sonny Gray, dude, going to, I think, his boyhood favorite team, the Cardinals. I'm going to have him as my third SP, and we'll rock along the solid SP train here. After I took Gray, Teoscar Hernandez goes at 11-6. Ryan Helsley, maybe the last really solid closer off the board. Jordan Walker, looking for a tremendous sophomore season. Jordan Montgomery, where he's going to sign Will. Tanner Bybee after him. And then you have 11-11, make a wish, buddy, and make a pick.
Yeah, this is again, another interesting spot to be. At this point in the draft, you're really trying to, analyze your team. What positions have you not yet addressed? That kind of thing. Make sure there's nobody that just really sticks out at you. And so, for me, I'm looking at my team right now. I don't have a catcher yet. I'm not overly concerned about that now that the top few guys are off the board. I need either a shortstop or third base because I've got Gunnar who's eligible at either one. So that allows me to basically pick and choose between either of those positions, whichever one I feel better about. And then I need to address corner infield, middle infield, outfield, and utility. I've got 3 out of my 4 outfielders, and then I've got 4 of my pitching slots filled. So really, I feel like at this point in the draft, I'm in a pretty good spot. So now I'm just purely going based on either need for a specific category or a guy who I really, really feel good about, like really outplaying his draft position. And so I'm just kind of looking at the board right here. I don't love the pitchers right now. I feel like there's a bunch of pitchers right now that all starting pitchers, that all kind of feel the same to me. And so I'm going to try to address a need, elsewhere. And so having said that, I'm going to go ahead. Let's see. Let me find him real quick.
Dude, pay for the whole seat, only use the edge of it over here, dude. I'm like, who's he looking for? Who's he looking for?
I know, right? So what I'm going to do here, there is a guy right here that I found that I just feel really good about. I know that playing time isn't necessarily a 1,000% guarantee, but I love the upside and the home ballpark that he plays in. I'm going to go some Christian Encarnacion Strand and fill my corner infield spot with a guy who could be one of the league leaders in RBIs and home runs to pair with Aaron Judge, Jordan, Goldschmidt, Gunnar, and really solidify the strength of my team in those positions. So I'm going Christian Encarnacion Strand.
Dude, I love your offense so much. That's exactly to me what the corner infield is used for. Seriously, is corner infield, middle infield. Go out there and take a risk, and I don't even think it's that risky of a risk.
Yep.
Perfect spot for 11-11. Chris Bassett goes 11-12, and then 12-1. Merrill Kelly, look out for him at 2 in the 12th round. What are you thinking?
Yeah, so right here, I might be going a little bit too heavy on this position, but I'm okay with that because here's the thing. You can always try to trade, or you can always it's better to have too much of something than not enough. And so
Sure.
there's a guy, there's a closer that I feel like really jumps out at me right now to where I feel like I'm going to be probably first or second in saves if I get this guy. And so I'm going to get Evan Phillips from the Dodgers. I think this guy is honestly one of the most underrated guys in all of fantasy baseball over the past couple of seasons. So I
Yeah.
really feel good about him kind of solidifying not only my relievers, but kind of my starting staff.
Dude, I really like it. I really like it. I think it's like the Dodger fans. They want like the shiniest new toy
Yeah.
with the shiniest name. They're like, I want Bednar, I want Class
Mm-hmm.
A. Like you got a dude, and his name is Phillips, Ryan
Yeah.
Phillips, and he's a stud. And I'm just like, what just be happy with him. Uh, Speaking of being happy, dude, it's a little tough for me right now because I keep getting sniped by Team Six. Okay, or let's see, who was it? Because after you took Phillips, no, it was Team 10 this time
Yeah.
coming after you, Team 10, because they took my man Santander. I was talking about. I was very interested in drafting him. Volpe goes at 12-4. Mitch Keller looking for a kind of a repeat of the first half. Pete Fairbanks goes. I know you love him. Biggest eyes in baseball. Vinny
Yep.
Pasquantino, the Pasquatch, goes at 12-8, and it's back to me. Yeah, I've made the change. I don't know if you caught it. Probably didn't because it might not be up on your screen. I've moved Mookie to my primary shortstop because I just think the shortstop market, it's not great right now. Okay, you got Estrada, Edmonds, Story, and that's why it's nice to draft a guy like Mookie. You have those options. So I got Glaber at second, Mookie at short, and so now I really need to hit on either outfield or a pitcher. Um, Possibly a relief pitcher. There's still some starting pitchers with a lot of upside here. Yeah, as I'm looking through Perez, you got Reese Hoskins on the bounce back. I mean, Hoskins is a guy who hit 30 home runs every year until he got hurt last year.
Absolutely.
Oh, dude, I was going to go Vinny P or Santander. So this is tough for me. We talked about this, you kind of draft yourself into this trap a little bit if you miss out on too rich of a position like outfield, because right now it's just not looking great.
Yeah.
There's upside with Riley Green, Jorge Soler. He's new San Francisco DH, so that's kind of exciting. Not a big Friedel guy. I know he can help you in every position. I got to make a pick because we can't be here all night. Well, we can, Will, but I don't know if people would like that very much. I'm gonna take the bounce back here, man. Give me. I don't love what this team is, but we're gonna stay positive. Give me my main man, Shane Bieber. Do it. Draft him on a team. I think he's healthy. I got the reach alert again. You might absolutely toast me when we look at our scores later, but it's okay. This is like the most pitching heavy team I've ever drafted. Okay, after Bieber goes, you got Goloff for Oakland. There's an Oakland A sighting. This is exciting. Let's see. Andres Jimenez for Cleveland, 12-2. Isaac Paredes, Salvador Perez finish off the 12th round. Then it goes Sean Murphy, Tanner Scott, Clay Holmes, and Fernando Alvarez. So some really good RPs and catchers off the board there in quick succession. Will, back to the outfielders. Same guys are there. The ADPs still don't look great, but I might just have to roll with it. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go Soler. He'll be my third, maybe fourth outfielder. This is a guy, he's not going to a very hitter-friendly park, but I still think he has a lot of pop, and if he can stay healthy. Bob Melvin came out and said he wants to put him in bubble wrap, which I think is freaking hilarious. You would think a lot of managers might think that about players, but to say it out loud is pretty bold.
I agree.
Is bold the right word? TJ Friedel goes after Soler. Max Muncy still hanging out in the 13th round. He's gone now. Craig Kimbrell, 13-8. Reese Hoskins, welcome to Milwaukee, 13-9. Hunter Green at 13-10. And you have pick 13-11, my friend.
Yeah, so I'm, I kind of summarized with where I was at as far as my team goes right now. With my last couple of picks, and right here I'm just, we're in the 13th round, basically at the bottom of the 13th round, and at this point, I'm looking for two things. I'm looking for, like I said last time, either guys that really stand out to me that I really feel like is going to totally overplay their draft position, so to speak, or I'm looking for guys who basically fit in with the scope of my team and can help me, not hurt me in any position or any category, I should say. And so a
Mm-hmm.
guy that really fits that bill right now at a position that I need, which is third base, is Alec Bohm. I'm going to go Alec Bohm. I love getting guys on really good teams. That's one of my kind of things that I always try to do is get guys on good teams because they get more at bats, they get more counting stats as a result. So he fits in well with kind of what I'm trying to do here.
I like it, dude. After you take Bohm, Team 12 going with a couple of reclamation projects. Carlos Rodon and Trevor Story. Dude, I don't I don't know how that's going to pan out for him, but good luck, buddy. 14-2. Back to you, bud.
Yeah, so here again, I'm just trying to kind of round out my team here with number one positions of need. And then if I can, kind of like what I said with Bryson Stott earlier, if there's a way right here, I hardly ever build a team that's really, really heavy in steals. And so because of that, what I try to do is in kind of these middle to late rounds is try to get some guys who can kind of what I call sneak steals. And I'm not trying to lead the league in steals, obviously, but what I am trying to do is figure out a way to where I can, in a roto league, can I finish middle of the pack to where I don't get killed in a certain category like steals, but since it's not the strength of my team, how do I make it to where it's at least middle of the road? So that's what I'm trying to do here. And I'm going to go with a guy like Thairo Estrada. I think he's a guy at this spot in the draft, doesn't really hurt you anywhere, gets you some steals, and helps me at the middle infield spot.
I like it, buddy. Hey, Riley Green goes after Estrada. Kyle Raleigh, big dumper. We like that. 1405 is Kenley Jansen for the Red Sox. Maybe somebody else if the price is right. Shane Baz coming back for Tampa Bay. I really like these two, Shane Baz and Michael King. If there's freight trains to get on for either one of those gentlemen, I think they could make it happen this year. Very exciting picks. Definitely, we're on my bingo card. But right now, with only one pitcher spot on my team left, got to go offense. And that's not something I ever have to tell myself. But right now, it's like we got to make some lemons. We got to turn some lemons into lemonade wheel here, okay? So as I'm looking around, I mean, it's not great, Bob. I'm going to take Nathaniel Lowe. I have my eye on him or Mountcastle, but this system does not give a lot of love to my man Mountcastle, even though I think he could have a pretty solid year in Baltimore. Okay, I'll take Lowell. He'll be my corner infielder. It's very exciting. I know everybody out there listening is psyched for me. Okay, so that's 14-8. Masataka Yoshida at 14-9. Ty, dude, I'm not liking how this team is coming together. But we're going to piece it together, baby. This is about staying in it, mentally staying tough. It's going to be good.
Right.
Ty France, looking for a bounce back. If Ty France does not bounce back, he'll be on my no list for all of eternity for fantasy baseball. Let's see. Marcell Ozuna at 14-11. 14-12, Brandon Nimmo. Jake Berger, man, 1501. He had a great year. Nolan Gorman, a couple heavy hitting infielders there. Tommy Edman, 15-3, and then Gabriel Moreno. I know he's your guy, catching position. Okay, and back to me and back to the slog, man. Let's get some outfielders here. Let's take a look. James Outman. I might have to be Outman on that. I don't know how I feel about it. Here's what I'm feeling. Actually, I had my eye on. I think people are sleeping. I don't even know if I want to tell you. Because we're competing right now, baby. I'm not a big fan of Adames. He does end up on a lot of my teams because he falls so low. I'm not going to pick him right now, but I think Correa. I know I'm just talking about random people. I think Correa is like primed for a bounce back, man. I don't think he's doomed to be a 220 hitter in Minnesota for the rest of all time. So look for me to maybe pick him up here in a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and take Adames just because of the power. And maybe if the average comes up, it'll help a little bit. But I'll grab him. And now, I know I'd said I wanted Mookie I wanted him to be my shortstop. But the outfielders are so terrible that I thought maybe a double tap shortstop here. After I took, dude, I'm so uncomfortable taking all these pitchers, man. Let's see. After I took a Diamonds, Jung Hung Lee, Jung Ho Lee, Jung Ho Lee. That's nobody. That's not a name, bro. Ezekiel Tovar. Ooh, it's getting late, baby. I was in the car a lot today. Ezekiel Tovar, 1507. Albert Alzolay. Give me a break with these names. James Outman goes 1509. Wilson Contreras, 1510. And you have 1511, my friend. What do you think?
Yeah, so this isn't the part of the draft where it's it's easy if this is the first or second or first couple of times you've ever done a draft to where it's like, I just pick whatever, it doesn't matter. That's wrong. If you're in a competitive league, man, this is where this is prime territory for diamonds in the rough. This is kind of where if you hit on a gem in these kind of middle to late rounds, man, you talk about a boost to your team and your chances to win your league. So like right here, I've said all along, I'm looking for guys who can potentially have huge upside that can help my team win. And there's a guy sitting here that there's no guarantees right now, but I like his chances. I'm gonna go Jackson Holiday.
Ooh, I
I
like it.
think this is kind of the perfect spot in the draft to take a chance on a guy like that, and we'll see kind of how it shakes out this year for him.
Dude, I like it. And again, you can have Estrada as your starter if you need him
Yep.
to, and then boom, Jackson Holiday doing his thing. Dude, I like that a lot. Okay, after you took our main man Holiday, you have Eloy Jimenez coming back, trying
Good
again.
luck.
He's gonna try and stay healthy, baby. And then Noelvi Marte, he is, dude, he's going pretty high in some drafts, man. I really like that guy. Had a great year last year in the time that he played for the Reds, and he'll be their third baseman. So that's exciting. First pick in the 16th round. You have 16 too. What you thinking, buddy?
Yeah, so kind of just sticking with this theme of kind of my Jackson Holiday pick. This is the part of the draft where if you feel pretty decent about the build of your team, you can afford to take a couple of chances. And so I'm going to do that not only with Jackson Holiday, but I'm going to do this here in the outfield too. I'm going to go with Wyatt Langford for the Texas Rangers. I think there's a really good chance that he might not start the year in Texas, but I
Yeah.
think he'll end the year in Texas, and I think he has a chance to be really special.
It's a great call, and I love it. I like it a lot. Good call. So you took Langford. Dude, those are back-to-back juicy picks. Those could really pay off. Talking about
Yeah.
some solid lotto tickets there. Chas McCormick, Lars the Newt Bar goes, and then you have Jonah Heim, Logan O'Hoppe, couple of catchers go off the board, and then Christopher Morel for the Cubs. I think they're going to try him at third base, so that could be interesting. He can strike out a little bit less. We know the pop is there. I do not mean to be coming after these guys. This is it's very fun, man. It's going to be a fun bunch. It's going to be very exciting to see how it pans out. So right now, here's what I need to fill. I need potentially another outfielder, or I could get Carlos Correa. I'm trying to decide how much do I buy exactly what I was just talking to you guys about, and it's probably a lot. I feel pretty good about him. He's got a track record. If he can stay healthy, he'll do something spectacular. Could also use another closer, maybe get a save or two. My question is Alvarez going to be the closer? Jose Alvarez. Will he be the closer in Philly? Who am I forgetting in Philly? I know it's not Kimbrel anymore.
I mean, I think he's got as good a chance as any. I mean, I'm pretty sure, don't they still have Sir Anthony Dominguez, but he's kind of had a down year.
Dude, are we forgetting somebody? I mean, I think he'll still...
I mean, they've got the young guy that they feel really good about. I forget his last name, but his first name is Orion. He kind of made his debut sort of in the playoffs and at the end of the year last year, and he pitched really well. So he could be a sleeper, but I've got to believe as of right now, kind of as we approach the end of February, I got to believe the favorite for save is Jose Alvarado in Philly.
It's not a bad call, dude. I like it. And I might just say, hey, I'm going to pick him. He might be spectacular. This is the mock draft. So he gave me the reach alert again, dude. You are going to, it's not going to be close. So I'm going to go ahead and take Alvarado. We'll see what happens, but now I can just focus on offensively what I want my life to look like for this travesty of a baseball team right now. Okay, Chris Sale goes. A couple of guys I'm really interested in. Chris Sale, Gavin Williams. I think they're both primed to have great years. MJ Melendez, will he be anything for Kansas City? Finishing our 16th round. Speaking of guys who I need to be something, Jaron Duran for my Red Sox.
Yeah.
After him, we have Andrew Vaughn, Ke'Bryan Hayes, Matt Chapman. Pretty fitting, they're paired together. And then Jose Barrios. At this point, like I said, it's all about the sticks for me right now. Boy, this is tricky. Got a couple guys. Got Dalton Varsho still living around. He could be the util guy or maybe one of my outfielders. We'll see. This is tough. There's a Kerry Carpenter on the board. He's 26. I'm pretty interested to see how he will pan out. I know guys in Detroit are super excited about this kid. Had a great year last year. What were his numbers last year? Well, yeah, 20 home runs, a 278 average. So that's not bad, and 400 plate appearances. Oh Lord. Here we go, buddy. Okay. I'm going to take Lourdes, Gurriel Jr. He'll be outfielder, whatever number he needs to be, Will. And we'll throw Mookie in the middle infield spot. We're just going to get fancy with this team. I don't know what's going to happen with the draft wizard. After Gurriel goes, Edwin Julian goes, and then you have India, Brandon Drury, Jeff McNeil, and then J.D. Martinez. Again, another guy who I feel like once he gets a team, he could creep up in the drafts because he had a great year last year as well. 17-11, buddy. What are you thinking? Only a few more picks in this draft.
Yeah, so when I look at my team, really the only, other than obviously bench spots, the only holes that I've got to fill as of right now is one more pitching spot and catcher. And so, right now, there's actually a couple of pitchers that have fallen a little bit farther than I thought they would at this point. So, again, kind of what I've been saying with these last few picks, I'm looking for guys at this point that I feel like can majorly outperform their draft position. And we're in the 200s as far as overall picks. So I'm going to go with a guy who I think is a prime bounce back candidate. He's going to get plenty of strikeouts. He plays on a really good team. I'm going Christian Javier. And at this point in the draft, if he does not work out, guess what? I can just drop him and get somebody else. So there's very little risk at this point in the draft for a guy like that.
Dude, it's unbelievable how far he's fallen. And he had one bad year, one not good year. Bo Naylor goes, and then Ryan McMahon at the first pick in the 18th round. You have the second pick, 4 picks to go, buddy. What are you thinking?
Yeah, kind of same thing here. Like I'm just purely looking for some depth here as far as quality depth, guys that I feel good about. And so I'm kind of sticking just like what I mentioned with Christian Javier. I'm looking at another pitcher here that I think there's no reason to think that he can't get a little bit better than what we saw last year. He kind of came on the scene last year and was actually pretty solid, roughly a strikeout per inning, decent whip. ERA is a little bit elevated, but hey, ERA can change year in, year out. So I'm going to go Bailey Ober for the Twins. And I think at this point in the draft, it's a really solid value.
I like it, dude. I like it. Yeah, he's Minnesota is looking for this guy to pop off.
Yeah.
To do big things for them, and I like it a lot. I really do. As I flip back to the draft board here, you take Ober. Then Jeimer Candelario goes new Cincinnati first baseman ? Kerry Carpenter, we talked about him. Junior Cabanero, we like him. Wilmer Flores for San Francisco, maybe the most underrated player in baseball. Jared Kelenic looks like he's going to get the lion's share of the outfield spot in Atlanta now that Vaughn Grissom is playing second base for the Red Sox. So we're back to my team. Everything's filled out except for util. So you're essentially taking the best batter that is available that can help. I got enough, I feel like, defense eligibility other places that if I need to swap people around, I could do it. So I'm just coming through real quick, Will. And I'm going to go big time, bounce back, Dalton Varsho. This is a guy who came over from Arizona. And, dude, it looks like Toronto got absolutely smashed in that trade between Moreno and who came over with him, buddy? It was Moreno and
Gurriel.
Gurriel, exactly. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now they've signed Gurriel long term. They love that guy, and obviously we saw what Moreno did in the
By
playoffs.
the way, you're reigning National League champions,
Yeah,
Arizona Diamondbacks.
yeah. Probably doesn't happen without that trade.
I agree.
And the hilarious thing is I think the Blue Jays thought they were getting away with one,
Right?
because the Blue Jays had a lot of catchers. They had Jansen, they had Kirk, and man, those guys. What happened?
Here's kind of the way I look at that trade, and I know we need to move quick, but if you just look at Varsho, and that's basically who the Blue Jays got, it's not even close. I would much rather have Gabby Moreno just straight up, and then you also get a solid. Not saying he's a superstar, but a solid everyday Major League Baseball player in Gurriel in addition to that. And I just think that they crushed the Blue Jays.
Dude, yeah, it wasn't even close. It was, and like I said, Varsho can come back and have a really solid year.
Yeah,
this has always been a guy who can give you 20 steals, 20 home runs. But
right.
Average. Who had on their bingo card the average going down so low that we can grab him in the 18th round here of this mock draft. After him, Nick Pivetta is going to need to do big things for the Red Sox. Yu Darvish looking for a bounce back. Mitch Garver, new Seattle catcher. Brandon Lau, I know you love that guy for your Tampa Bay Rays.
Yep.
In our 19th round, it kicks off with Hunter Brown, Nathan Eovaldi, Jack Sawinski, Bryce Miller, 19-4. And now we're filling out bench spots, buddy. And I am looking to maybe expand on the save front, because I feel like I only got, I got one solid guy in Duran. I have Jose Alvarado, who he's a ginormous maybe. Let's just be super honest.
Yeah.
And there's one guy I saw here. I don't know how many saves he's going to get. I'm just combing through who's still available. You have Alex Lang. He's probably the guy I'll go with. Jose Leclerc. He could get the save chances, especially breaking camp with Texas. But bringing in David Robertson, it's hard to tell what they're going to do. Another guy who I've been interested in drafts, late in drafts, is Robert Stevenson for LA, the Angels. He he had a great second half with the Rays. I'll take Lang just because I think that's his job until he gives it up.
I agree.
And so hopefully that can help me on the saves front. After I take Lang, you have Vaughn Grissom go, and then Cubert Ruiz, Eduardo Rodriguez, Brian Wu, and Lucas Giolito, ace of the Red Sox. He'll probably start opening day. 19-11, buddy. What do you got? That makes me so sad.
Man, I tell you what, this is just, this is the point in the draft where it's just like, man, what do you, what do you need? What on your team do you not feel great about that you feel like you need to address some depth at? So for me, I need to grab me a catcher. I'm going to go with, and this is, again, we're at the point in the draft where like, you pick somebody, and if somebody's on waivers lighting it up the first week, man, you grab them. You don't hesitate. But I'm going to get just a guy in San Diego, Luis Campusano, who actually showed me something towards the end of last year. I think he's actually got some potential here, and I think San Diego's lineup has to be a little bit better than it was last year, I would think. So I'm going to take a shot on a guy like Luis Campusano. I think he's got some upside here. And again, if he comes out and struggles out of the gate, I'll pick up whoever's, available on waivers that I feel pretty good about. So we'll do that. And then what we got? We got, round 20.
Round 20, dude. Mountcastle and Tyler O'Neill go. And then back to you at 22.
Yeah. So, here again, I'm just trying to kind of scan my team real quick and see what's a position that I feel like I probably need a little bit more depth at. Just doing a quick scan, I'm probably going to say outfield. And so a guy who really kind of jumps out at me, I'm not sure yet about the playing time, how it's going to shake out, but I liked what I saw in portions last year, but the outfield in Texas is going to get a little crowded. But kind of as a handcuff to Wyatt Langford, not knowing if he's going to make the team, I'm going to go Leotis Taveras for the Rangers. And that way I feel like I've at least got one of the Texas outfielders one of those young ones kind of locked down for the season.
I like it a lot, dude. He's solid, man. He'll get you a 280, 290 average.
Yep.
Not think twice about it. I like him a lot, dude, but I think he might, just what you said, I think they got so much young talent. He might be out of the job at some point, but maybe not to start the season. Whit Merrifield goes, new second baseman for the Phillies. I like that. Luis Rengifo, that guy has eligibility like literally everywhere. He's a stud. Justin Turner, legendary Red Sox, 1 year Red Sox. I'm going to start a calendar. Braxton Garrett goes after Turner at 26, and then Tristan McKenzie. They call him Sticks. He's coming back, man. He's coming back. He's going to do incredible things. Back to me, guys. Back to me. I have 2 more picks. I'm going to try and make it kind of quick. I'm looking for an SP. I'm looking for somebody solid kind of to keep with. You know what? I actually found my guy, and he's not even in the SP little section, but I just love him so much. And, well, now I say that, I'm kind of interested in somebody else. No, I'm sticking to my guns. No, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. I got Brian
Don't
Bayo.
second guess you. Don't second guess.
I've got him on every team I've drafted up until this point. I'm going Pepio, man. I'm buying the Rays Kool-Aid. And the draft wizard might not like that, might ding me for it, but I think he could be an absolute stud, dude. He came back, he was injured, came back, had a really good second half. The few starts he had was really solid in the second half. So after Pepio, we're heading towards the final round. It makes me sad. J.P. Crawford, Matt Brash, Tyler Ward. Talk about your guy who was a stud a couple of years ago. Max Kepler, Brandon Pfaadt, Nick Lodolo, Tyler Stevenson, Eugenio Suarez for the D-backs. I forgot he got traded until this very moment. Back to me, last pick of the draft kind of makes me sad, but we're here and we're together, and that's not nothing. Real quick, just combing through. Is there anybody who stands out that I'm like, this person's awesome? You got Polanco, new Seattle middle infielder. That could be exciting. Anybody who I'm like, I need to go out and get. They're telling me to go get Marte. I don't know how I feel about that. Is he going to give me some stolen bases, Will?
I mean, if he can stay healthy, he's entering his age 35 season. He's struggled with some injuries the past few years. But, I mean, I will say this. In his prime, he was as good as anybody with that category. The problem is he's getting up there in age, and I just don't know how many games we're going to get out of him to be realistic.
You know what? It's probably.
But it's also the last round of the draft, too. So, take that into account.
I want Buck Daddy. I want Buxton. He's on my team.
Nice.
Fire Buxton. Said I'd never do it again after 2022. And here I am doing it. Jordan Westberg, Carlos Correa, Elias Diaz, Jose Leclerc, and Charlie Morton at 21-10. There's 2 more picks. You have one of them, Will. What are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just going to simply go with a guy here that I know he plays on an incredible team. I think he's going to get his job back. He is coming off of a major injury, so we'll see how that shakes out. But again, it's the last pick in the draft, and we're just kind of not necessarily swinging for the fences, but we're just looking for guys who we think that's going to be very productive at this stage in the draft. So I'm going to go Gavin Lux for the Dodgers, and we'll see kind of where it shakes out. What he looks like in spring training and all that. It could very much change over these next few weeks, but as of right now, let's go Gavin Lux with the last pick here.
The final pick after Gavin Lux it went away. So I don't know where the board went away. Timeout, guys. Draft board. Nope, that's not the draft board. Will, can you see who went last?
Let's see. I don't think so.
I don't know where. Well, we'll never know. We'll have to watch it back. Okay.
Here we go. It's Colt Keith for the Tigers.
Colt Keith for the Tigers, dude. You can throw him in with the second base. The guys who are going to come up and do big things.
Yeah.
He's going to get a shot for Detroit, Mr. Irrelevant. Okay, as our draft scores pop up, I know if you're on YouTube, you can see. I might have played the numbers a little bit more, and as I'm looking down at Will, and I'm wondering what happened, but I think it has to do with going after Holiday and Langford. They don't like him as much, but as you look at your team real quick, buddy, I'm going to see if this is not the screen that usually pops up, but oh, here it is. Draft board. Found it. Uh, takeaways from your team. Anything? How do you feel about this draft as you went through it? Kind of what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of, we've talked a lot about this. I really feel like outfield dries up extremely quick. And so that was kind of my strategy early on to make sure that I've got that particular position to where I feel pretty good about it. And actually, I feel quite good about it, to be honest, with this particular team. So that was one. Also, I feel like with starting pitcher, I feel like it feels like an advantage if you're able to get one, or especially if you're able to get two guys kind of in those top, I don't know, 10 to 12 guys, because then it feels like after about the first 10 to 12 starting pitchers come off the board, it feels like everybody is like in a lump that all feels about the same after that for a while.
I
Um,
agree.
and so, um, that was kind of my big overarching takeaways. I feel like, honestly, the depth this year, across the board as far as batters go, is pretty good at most positions outside of outfield.
Yeah,
But yeah, pitching, I feel like, man, once you get past those, let's just say the first 10 guys, just feels like there's a lot of questions. And I know that there's going to be a lot of guys that are drafted outside of those top 10 guys that really
yeah.
outperform their draft position. But, the problem is you just don't know who that's going to be. So that was really kind of my big overarching takeaways. But as far as my team goes, I feel pretty good about it. I feel like I've got power. I've got RBIs. I've got solid average guys across the board. And the pitching feels okay to me too. So yeah.
I like it, man. Yeah, this is kind of fun. You go through, you do this draft on Fantasy Pros. It is, these drafts, the grades they give you, they are not, they're not in stone. I've had teams that I got very high grades and they didn't perform over the year, and vice versa. But it's curious to go back and kind of um, hone your kind of thought process, and it really helps me come up with a strategy. This team, man, if I could summarize it, I just felt like I was trying to find it,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it ended up in like strategically the world's greatest place, but you obviously like you like the evenness of being able to go 2-2 to start, two really solid hitters, and then two
Yeah.
solid pitchers in Nola and Gosman, and then after that, Mookie being able to get flopped around really, he could be second base, shortstop, outfield. Really helped me to not get stuck at like, oh my gosh, I'm out of shortstop, so what am I going to do?
That's
And
such
I
an underrated huge advantage with that position eligibility.
Yeah, and it almost feels like you're missing out at the beginning of the draft because you didn't get
Yeah.
like a super cool new toy, like you didn't get
Right.
the J Rod or the Corbin Carroll, but Mookie, man, he takes a subpar position and he makes it great, and
Yep.
he's a stud. And then just depth wise, a lot of guys that I would need to pan out. We need to have Jorge Soler have a good year. We need Dalton Varsho to bounce back. What's Pepio going to do in Tampa Bay? That is something in like 4 or 5 of my leagues, man. I'm gonna need to know ASAP because I
Right.
need him to do great things. So, and can Buxton stay healthy? He's gonna be the center fielder in Minnesota. We'll see, buddy. Dude, this has been fun. I had a good time. I hope you had fun. Any thoughts before we get on out of here?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I thought it was a lot of fun. I encourage anybody out there, especially if you play with your buddies or, you know, excuse me, play in a really competitive league. I encourage you to try one of these out, because it's one of those things, like it's a mock draft. It's not the real thing. You can essentially practice. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah, I think that any of these tools that are out there, I think any of this, you're able to get some feedback. You're able to see kind of how it plays out, what positions feel like they dry up, what positions feel like there's actual depth at. And so, I've done this, I've done the fantasy baseball thing for a long time, but I'm constantly learning things. And so I think that's the key to it all. And, I would just say on this, be aware of the score that it gives you, but like what Cody was mentioning earlier, don't get so caught up in the score. Like for me, I think it gave me a 78. I'm not I'm not honestly not worried about that. I'm really just learning, what positions feel like they're drying up, what can I learn for the real thing,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So I encourage anybody out there to try it. And yeah, I look forward, man. We're about a month away from the season.
Yeah.
So it's almost here. It's prime draft time. So looking forward to these next few weeks as we get into prime draft territory for sure.
It's going to be great, guys. Hey, reach out to us on Twitter at BTH_Cody and at Will Sism. Any kind of draft questions. Man, we're psyched. Any kind of things you'd like to see from us as we gear up for opening day. Man, I'm just tickled. It's going to be a lot of fun. Check out the YouTube channel. I don't know what this video is going to look like. When I render these, for whatever reason, it likes to put our heads up in the top left. So I'll try and get fancy with the background. But just give a little grace on that, team. We really appreciate you guys. But until next time, thanks for listening to episode 69 of Bringing the Heat.